Refresh. All right, everybody out there in Twitch land, this is Game Time with Doc and Lurch, and we're here with you every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, giving you all the information about what's going on in the greater nerdosphere, especially as it pertains to us here in the Ozarks of Missouri, the Springfield area, where, of course, we have a huge gaming and nerd community, and we like to be there for all our fellow brethren, sisterin, and otherin out there that call nerddom their home. As you can see in the center of our screen, as always, we are big proponents of the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo. That's actually how me and Lurch met. We're on the board there, and we help put on that big convention. The last one will be this October 14th, 15th, and 16th. But for $10, you'll get in for the entire weekend. It's great. And if you join the Eclectic Endeavors group on Facebook, you can find out when upcoming meetings are coming, because they are open to the public for the most part, and we're always looking for volunteers. We're completely nonprofit. None of us make a dime on this. In fact, it's quite the opposite. By the time the show actually happens, several of us on the board may have even spent some of our own personal money to get things going. Now, that's not to say that vendors don't make money. So if you vend at the show, that's completely different. They make money however they like, because that's a vendor. But we personally don't make money, and any money we make over and above what it takes to put on the show goes to charity. So it's a 100% charity-driven event. Let's go ahead and do a quick sound check, make sure we're sounding okay, especially as I'm using my headset mic today. So check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Check it, check. Check it, check.
Sounds pretty good to me. All right, and I'll go ahead and pull out the chat window pop-up here. So let's go ahead and drag that over here and expand it so it looks even bigger, so I can read it real well. Zoom, larger, up, there we go. All right, and we've got a bit of a show for you today. It's not our normal kind of show because, of course, we're in that nether zone between TV releases. So we're not going to have that huge media presence that we normally have with our show. And there's actually not really a great big movie release this week either. So although I think Super Pets released, but I haven't even gone to see it yet. So and it's one I'll probably wait until it comes to streams. But anyway, we will be covering a few things, but it'll be a little bit more content, not necessarily as regards to current TV shows, but more like predictions and news in and about our various nerdy shows and stuff. Yeah. And we're going to start off, as usual, with Lurch taking the lead. But before that, I do want to remind people we are on my Gamer Seuss's channel, and anything I make on the channel of Twitch, I like to try to remind people 50% of it right off the top goes to Extra Life, which is part of the Children's Miracle Network. So if you are a Prime subscriber, you get a free Prime subscription to a Twitch channel every month. So if you throw me that free subscription, it won't cost you a dime, and it'll help charity. Or you can actually subscribe or gift a subscription to somebody else. But in no way am I asking people to actually come out of pocket with this. I'm perfectly happy with you just following or just watching the show or shooting me that free Prime subscription that don't cost you anything. Because a lot of my viewers are like students who get a free Amazon Prime. That's even more free. They don't even pay for Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. So they get Amazon Prime for free, which means they get a free subscription to Twitch every month. Throw that to me. Out of that $5 value subscription, I get $2.50. $1.25 of that will go to Extra Life. So it's a win-win. And the other $1.25 goes towards maintaining the channel. It doesn't. I don't make any profit. I don't make enough on this to even cover my expenses. So it's always like helpful to remind you every once in a while about that. But anyway, we're going to get off of that. You can also watch rebroadcasts of the show on YouTube by searching Gamer Stews and then go into the Game Time playlist, and you will see our previous broadcasts, because usually within a week of broadcasting we put them up on YouTube. And you'll actually see that in the description and the name of the show this time, I put the date. That way I can make sure I don't double and triple send them over to YouTube anymore. I will see the date of the show and make sure we're not getting a bunch, because you might have found some there that are like that. And so I'm going to start labeling the show with the date of the broadcast, just to help us out and get more organized as we go along. Anyway, we're going to go on, like I said, start with Lurch. And for those who don't know, Lurch is our console gaming guru. He runs the electronic gaming section at Game, and he's got, what'd you say, 48 consoles right now?
Yeah.
Last count was 48. Yeah, see, I remember the number pretty good. All right, so he knows his consoles, and he's going to give you information in the console gaming world that is usually pretty up to date. He likes to keep us knowing what's going on there. And the first topic is, of course, ever popular Pokemon.
Pokemon. Before we talk about Pokemon, I thought I'd point out a little project I've been working on here. You can see here in the back where I've got all these like old game console controllers on the wall.
Right.
I keep adding to that. I'm up to 20. Yeah, I'm up to 20 sets up there, 20 controllers up there on the wall now. Between like Dreamcast, Xbox, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Wii, Nintendo, PS2, Sega Genesis, N64. And it's still going. I still have more controllers to put up there.
Expand the window so
I'm
people
kind of
can
doing
see
it
a
in
little bit
smaller
better.
phases as I identify how much I like how they look in their different spots.
Nice. So kind of a controller collage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest thing is it's making it like the start of this was to have an easy way to put all these controllers in a spot that, because like the TV that I play this particular system on is right here, and like there's an entertainment center with a whole bunch of systems hooked up to it. And the idea is when we want to play games together, instead of having to dig through a drawer or anything like I've been having to do for a while, you just grab it off the wall.
There you go.
Just grab the one you want, the one you need.
We keep refining our game space. That's one of the things gamers tend to do, is refine our game space to make it our own. And so, yeah, that's just more the evolution of Lurch's game space. So that's great to see.
Helps keep it tidy, helps keep it easy to get to, and I just also, I'm liking the aesthetic of these controllers on the wall. But it makes better use of the space than just a blank spot or a poster, right?
Hey, it's your kind of knick-knack, too.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and get on with the Pokemon news. Not a whole lot to say, but they have announced, Pokemon companies announced that they're doing a Pokemon Presents on Wednesday, August 3rd, 6 a.m. Pacific time, or 9 a.m. Central.
So tomorrow.
For those of us here in the Midwest. It's too early for me, so I won't catch it live. I've got other things I got to deal with, but I will be watching it later in the evening and seeing what's going on. They will be including, it's going to be a presentation all about Pokemon involving their apps and games, and most notably, new information for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which, if you remember, those are the two Pokemon games coming out later this fall. Yeah, fall is where it falls in. Sometimes you get a little fuzzy on where fall and winter kind of drop.
Right.
So, we don't know much more than that. They just announced that they're going to be giving out this information on the YouTube channel tomorrow morning. You there?
Yes, I hear somebody was
Okay.
commenting in chat. Hey, Celtic Link, good to hear. Yeah, I see you're in stealth over in the Fractured game. We're actually running our talk show today right now, so I won't be talking Fractured so much. But it's good to see you, and it's nice that you've become kind of a regular in my channel. So good to have you over here. and you can always listen. You don't need to always comment. We actually don't even always necessarily see the commenters as we're talking anyway. So if we don't reply to you, it's probably because we haven't noticed your comment yet. But you
Yeah.
kind of know that when I'm playing the game too. Uh, anyway, yeah, that's definitely something that we want to keep on with is Pokemon. Pokemon is, of course, one of the biggest franchises in the entire world right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're stealth in the chat, and okay, cool, no problem. Yeah,
Yeah. And I enjoy Pokemon Legends Arceus. The stuff that we've seen for this game shows that it's going to be taking some of the lessons learned from Legends Arceus to have a more open environment. They have put out some interesting details, like you can go after the gems in any order you want, but they will not level scale. Like they'll be set. So, the 8th gym is going to have the highest level. So you're encouraged to go in order, but you're not required to. You can break the order as much as you want,
that's
as long as
cool.
you
Yeah.
can get strong enough to survive the battles.
For a while, I played Pokemon Go. It's still on my phone, but I almost never open it up anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm well familiar with it and watched all of the original cartoon, and I played some of the other games. I like this Pokemon Versus game. That's really good.
Oh, Pokken Tournament,
Yeah,
the
that
fighting
one.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fighting game, and I do like Pokemon Safari, the picture Safari. That's a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Pokemon Snap. You know they made a new one, right? A
yeah,
sequel
I
to
heard.
Pokemon Snap.
I heard. But
So,
Pokemon is just super popular, and that, of course, is based on the pocket monsters craze in Asia, which is what Pokemon basically is. And it gave us Pokemon and Digimon as the first main offerings that came over to the U.S. and kind of played in on the same concept when Magic came out of the collectible card game is really what kind of got this started. So Magic and Pokemon were the first true collectible card games, and of course Magic exploded in the U.S. and all over the world, but the U.S. especially. And Pokemon, for the younger generation especially, got really big, but there are still a bunch of adults that play Pokemon too. And really, where a lot of other collectible card games have fallen by the wayside, Pokemon, Digimon, and Magic are still going really strong. I mean, I love Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance, but it's not going nearly as strong as Magic or Pokemon. And so, but Pokemon has an entire franchise and so many other things that over and above the card game.
yeah.
And especially their console adaptations. There have been so much in the consoles with Pokemon that it's just absolutely insane how much that's caught on. So I can totally see where you're coming from there. All right. Well, that was a quick topic. We got a few quick topics today.
Yeah.
That's
I've got
because
a
we're
couple
going
of
to do a
quick
whole
ones.
bunch of topics, and we're not going to handle as much, like I said, the media as we normally do. At least the way we normally do it, because there's really just we're in the limbo between shows. We're in off season kind of thing, but we're getting ready to get out of that, so that's good too.
Yeah.
All right, for my first thing, okay, a Disney legend has died. I don't know if people know it, but the woman who voiced Ursula in The Little Mermaid and has been doing Disney voiceover as well as being a stage actor for years has recently died.
Oh man.
Yeah. Now, in the new live action of The Little Mermaid that they are working on, it looks like Melissa McCarthy will probably be taking her role as Ursula, which I think is kind of exciting news because I like Melissa McCarthy, but it's still sad to see someone that's been around as long as Pat Carroll has, to see her as being yet another loss in the recent list of people we've lost for various reasons. Of course, she was like, I think in her late 90s when she died, so, or I think 95. It's somewhere in the article. I got to remember here. She was distinguished career, appearing in various things. She performed on Gertrude Stein. She was also nominated for a Tony Award in '55 for Catch a Star on Broadway. She may best be remembered for her voice over talent, especially in The Little Mermaid, as opposed to some of Disney actors. Pat Carroll provided the acting voice and singing voice for Ursula. She was both the actor and the singer, so it shows she was quite versatilely talented. That's not always the case. They might have one voice actor voice a Disney character and somebody else do the singing involved. And so, especially for the feature actors that come in, like, for instance, when Robin Williams plays in a Disney movie, it was Robin Williams doing the acting and the singing. But like some of the side characters, you might have one person voicing the character and another person singing the character. But for someone like Pat Carroll, she did both, which was really something. And so I kind of just wanted to bring it up. Like I said, and it does say here in the article that Melissa McCarthy is set to take over the role for the new live action. And it is set to release in theaters in May of next year. It's supposed to be live action and voiceover performances. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not always a big fan of all of the live action adaptations of Disney, but I do like some. Like, I did like the Will Smith Aladdin adaptation. I thought he did a really good job.
I enjoyed it. I think that movie gets some unwarranted flack. I liked the Will Smith film.
One of the best things about it, I thought, was he didn't try to be Robin Williams.
Yeah.
That was the thing, because that would have been the path to destruction. Is somebody trying to be someone like Robin Williams is so hard to do. You can't do that. You can't walk in some people's footsteps. You have to make it your own, and I think Will Smith did. And that was why it was as successful as it was, in my opinion. Your mileage may vary. Like I said, you kind of liked it too, but it did catch a lot of flack. Anyway, that was another real quick one. I just kind of wanted to, here's a picture of her next to her most famous character. But like I said, she was acting all the way back in 1955 and earlier. But in Broadway, she got nominated for a Tony. She's been in voiceover work, mainline acting work, Broadway work, very versatile actor and singer. And from what I understand, Ursula was the only villain she ever played. And she really enjoyed playing the villain as something different. Because she always played those quirky characters, very much who am I thinking of? I don't know. But somebody who just plays quirky characters suddenly getting in and getting to play a villain. And such a compelling villain as Ursula, it shows some acting range that you don't always expect. So I wanted to mention that. And then speaking on that, and I'm just going to mention this and then move forward, there was a recent Reddit thing trying to figure out who would be a good DC villain for Adam Sandler to play. And one of the biggest consensus, I think, of all of them was Plastic Man was probably one of the number one choices, with additional ones being Commissary Man and or Commissary King and Mr. Mxyzptlk or Mxyzptlk. I don't know. Me personally, and a lot of people forget that Adam Sandler can do more than just silly acting. So I threw a very different one out on the vote, and let's see if you can even visualize this. I said Etrigan.
Etrigan?
Yes, the
Hmm.
demon, because he could play the human version, be kind of the nerdy guy and stuff, and then play the kind of the dark uh, demonologist character, and then become Etrigan, get a little bit of prosthetic makeup and stuff on, and do one of his voice changes, and do Etrigan as well. I thought he would be actually be able to pull it off, and
Yeah.
one people wouldn't necessarily expect, but I think he could do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's all I wanted to mention on that one. But Pat Carroll reminded me of that conversation. There's been so much going on in the nerdy world. I mean, post San Diego Comic Con, more and more stuff is still being revealed, and we've got D23 coming up in September, so even more is going to be revealed. And we've had some recent things. We even found out today that we will probably be mentioning later on in the show. Because I mean, me and Lurch were just talking about some. We'll mention it a little bit later. But I'm going to go on to Lurch's next topic, and
All
this
right.
one is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know if you remember, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was originally a Wii U game that they then ported to the Switch, um, after years of it being one of the top selling Nintendo games over and over and over again, month after month, they eventually decided to start putting out some DLC for it. After all these years, and Wave One came out, I think, 3 months ago, and Wave Two comes out. Shoot, what was the release date on it? I think it was August something, August 4th. So August 4th, so in 2 days, the next wave of Mario Kart courses are going to come out. It's going to be 8 more tracks, and that's what they're doing. They're doing like 6 waves of 8 tracks for each wave. Um, and it's really adding a ton. Something that's really exciting is they added in like most of these stages and all the stages from the first wave were like recreations of Mario Kart tracks from older Mario Kart games that they are remaking for Mario Kart 8. But one of them is a brand new track. And so I just want to go through a little quick about what these are. We've got some of these new tracks we're getting. And what's crazy is in total we're getting 48 new racetracks over the course of about 2 year span, once it's done, that means it'll have a total of that's totally double of what it was before, because it had 48 tracks before, and now they're adding 48 more tracks over the course of 2 years. Anyway, so we got some of the tracks we've got here. They break them up into what they call cups, and there's 4 tracks per cup. In the Turn-Up Cup, they've got the Tour New York Minute. Says zip past towering skyscrapers and enjoy a scenic drive through the park in this Big Apple-inspired course, originating from the mobile game Mario Kart Tour. So there's like a newer track from the mobile game of Mario Kart. And then they got the SNES Mario Kart Circuit 3, which is from the Super Mario Kart on Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and SNES, yeah.
Yeah. N64 Calamari Desert, where you're gonna have it looks fun with it says frequent run-ins with old-fashioned steam locomotives that crosses the course. DS Waluigi Pinball, which this is my personal favorite from the looks of it. Obviously this comes from the DS Mario Kart game. Launch, bump, and weave across this course themed after a giant pinball table, complete with colorful lights and sounds. Just try not to tilt. This one looks like it's so much fun because you got like all these bumpers and they're like moving around, so you have to like dodge them or get bumped around. And I don't know, this is something about that pinball design. Just fucking looks great. It reminds me of those old Sonic casino stages.
Yes. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog casino stages. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah. And then for the other cup, they call it Propeller Cup. First track's called Tour Sydney Sprint, which is it says soak up the sunshine as you soar above the bay and cruise around the sights in this course that originated in Mario Kart Tour. which is, if I remember correctly, Mario Kart Tour was the newer Mario Kart game where you get the little toy cars that you're driving around with and stuff. I might have that one mistaken. It might be the mobile one. Anyway, and then we've got Game Boy Advance Snowland. You try not to slip and slide on this wintry course from Mario Kart Super Circuit from Game Boy Advance. And then from the Nintendo Wii Mario Kart game, Mushroom Gorge features an underground cavern, deep chasms, and a giant mushrooms to spring off. And then this last one is a brand new stage called Sky High Sunday. The competition may heat up, but that doesn't mean you can't chill out in this sweet race, which is filled with larger-than-life desserts. I almost called it deserts. And at nearly every turn. Prove you're number one under the Sunday in this debut course. Now, this specific course, I'm sure it's going to be a great course. Nothing against the course. My favorite one I'm looking forward to the most is Waluigi Pinball. But the most exciting thing about the Sky High Sunday is that it's a brand new course that they created from scratch for Mario Kart 8 as part of this wave. So before everyone was just looking at, oh, they're just going to keep remastering old tracks, and then they're hoping that this track or that track, which people are excited about. But I think it's even more exciting to have this promise or this room for completely original stuff. Tracks that we've never seen.
A mix of nostalgia and originality is good, and I like the fact. I love the nostalgia of like Game Boy Advance and SNES and some of the older stuff coming in, not just the Wii Plus years. Seeing some of the older stuff remastered and re-envisioned for a new generation is always good.
Ooh, absolutely.
I mean, because some of the people nowadays just are starting to realize that we had some great games back then, and even without having the graphics to really do what they do nowadays, we still generated some fantastic games. And there's a reason that arcades were always busy back in the 80s and 90s, is because people were playing video games, because video games have sucked up more quarters than you could possibly imagine. In fact, there were several times when video arcades pulled in more quarters than the entire payphone industry back when cell phones didn't exist.
I would say that's going to be a very dated reference that
nobody gets.
Probably don't even know.
They used
for a reminder for how the pricing on this works. For the reminder of how the pricing on this works, because it is paid DLC. There's a total for the whole pass, not just for these 8 tracks, but to get to all 48 tracks, it's $25, and that'll give you all 48 tracks. With them, and they'll be releasing over time.
Over 2 years.
Over the 2-year span. So, your 2 choices on how to pay for it is either buy it for $25, maybe it's $29, but I'm pretty sure it's $25, or have a subscription to the Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass, which that gives you access to N64 games, Sega Genesis games, NES, Super Nintendo games, some extra content for Animal Crossing, a couple other items, and these racetracks, these additional racetracks, to add to your Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Of course, you have to have the game Mario Kart 8 Deluxe since it is DLC. So just those are the 2 ways that you would, the 2 options for how to get access to this content.
And what does the subscription cost right now?
Oh, I believe it's $50 for a year.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
$50 per year is not bad.
Yeah, and I think I paid a little bit extra so that we had the family plan, which the family plan is like 8 users. So if you have...
Yeah, so you have multiple profiles and stuff,
Yeah. So, if you have people to share with or whatever, you can, split that up and make it cost less for you if you really wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a pretty good deal. I was skeptical at first when they announced expansion pass because they didn't talk about Mario Kart or Animal Crossing or anything like that. They're just like N64 games and SNES games. And I went ahead and paid for it because there's a lot of the N64 games I had on there I never got around to playing, so I was like, I can do this. As long as I play some of these N64 games, I'll probably get my money's worth, because some of these games are expensive as crap to buy online anymore.
Right.
So, but then they announced this, and I was super thrilled when they were 48 more tracks. I was like,
let's be honest. You're the target audience for these kind of things anyway, because you play everything.
yeah.
You're the target audience. You at least want to try almost everything. So, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I have the PlayStation Plus Premium. I got the Nintendo subscription online expansion thing, the Plus version, and I've got
Xbox Live.
Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So
yeah, you are the target audience. Yeah.
I have the most expensive versions of the subscriptions for all three of the major brands.
Consoles, yeah.
Consoles, yeah. I am the target for this.
You are the target audience. You are their impulse buyer. You're the one that they want to originally market to, and then everybody else comes later. But you're the ones that buy it at release or pre-release. So.
But I'm getting my stuff out of
but
it.
You're also you play enough of these games to where you get your money's worth. I don't play them enough to get my money's worth. You would. I don't even have my PlayStation hooked up right now, or my Wii. You know, I play it on the computer mostly, so I wouldn't get that much from it, even though there's computer versions of a lot of the games now. But I mainly play my MMO. But you get lots and lots of use out of it because you're constantly playing and trying new games. Speaking of which, Ralphie was here earlier. We both know Ralphie. He's a coordinator for Henchmen at Game, for if anybody knows. So he's the one you want to talk to if you want to be a henchman at Game. But he was saying that that Horizon New West he got for his birthday a couple months ago.
Oh, he got Forbidden West?
Forbidden West, yeah. Nice. Now, he hasn't really had much time to play it, but he's looking forward to it. And then, of course, the other thing he mentioned that was in our recent comments is that he's saving for, I actually brought it up, but he said it was on his list, was Stray. Because, of course, Ralphie's a cat person. And, and so Stray is definitely on his list as well. But
I just finished Stray.
The demo?
Saturday? No, the game.
Oh, is it fully? Oh.
The game came out a little, I think 1 week ago today, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And I finished it over the weekend. I'm thinking about trying to get the platinum on it. It wouldn't be too hard. After beating the game, I looked at what trophies I'm missing, and I'm like, you know what? With like 6 or 7 more hours, I could get the platinum on this.
It looks adorable. I gotta say. And for people who want to play a fun, cute, family-friendly game with their kids in the room and their pets in the room, Stray is one to do because your pets will come right up to your TV and touch the screen thinking that there's little kitties there and stuff.
So, I've seen a lot of footage of that happening. My cat didn't give a shit. My cat, sometimes when I was hitting the meow button repeatedly, because the sound also came out of the controller, I think it did maybe sometimes get him to come over and like rub against my leg a couple times, but outside of that, he didn't like look at the screen, he didn't watch it or anything. But I've seen a lot of footage of other cats that are like sitting there and watching the screen.
You should
maybe our cat just knows it's not real or something. I don't know.
I don't know. You should have seen Vriska though when Ralphie came over and let him in, because of course Ralphie has several cats, so he smelled like cat. So Vriska was like, oh, what's that smell? Wait a minute. Wait, I smell cats. Where are they? So he was like really fascinated by Ralphie. Because that was his first time meeting Ralphie, really. I mean, he'd seen Ralphie a while back when we were in the trailer, but this has been a while. Anyway, we're going to move on, but I always like to talk about that adorable game. Since you mentioned it first, it's just adorable.
It's damn adorable. And Forbidden West is freaking great, too.
I've heard nothing but good from that one. Nothing but good. I'm even tempted to find some friend that has it and come over and play it, because it sounds amazing. Okay, we're going to move on. Next, let's see, what do I have for my next thing? Okay. In the Dungeons & Dragons trailer that we looked at, during one of the scenes, you actually see behind them a active volcano, and of course everybody was assuming that was CGI, but in actuality, luck of it happened that when they were filming the movie in Iceland was when the big Iceland volcano erupted for like that 6-month long eruption. So instead of having to CGI in a bunch of volcano shots and stuff, they lucked out and got real live footage from a volcano, which is hella luck. You know, especially during a time when most movies were having bad luck because of COVID and having trouble with different kinds of shootings. And here, they're in New Zealand, happen to be shooting in New Zealand when a volcano erupts in parts of the movie that have volcano written into the parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and from what I understand, it looks like that there's several other parts of the movie that include volcano in it. So it wasn't just like well, let's just keep that scene because it looks cool. It sounds like it's actually incorporated into the theme of the movie. So it's really great to not have to rely on a CGI for this. It's actually nature provided the CG.
Wow.
And that was awesome.
So wait, did they film with like actors on site with a volcano behind them?
Yes.
Or did they just?
Yes, there's some shots with the volcano erupting right behind them, and then some scene shots with the volcano, from what I understand.
Wow.
And it just incorporates the whole thing within it, which I think is fantastic. I really love the idea.
That is wild.
That is wild.
Wes Craven did the same thing, only with I think it was one of the Freddy Krueger movies. I think it was the 7th movie, where they had an earthquake in the movie, and then destroyed city or whatever, and LA happened to get hit by an earthquake while they were filming, so they got footage of the earthquake happening, and then did some on-site shooting outside amongst the real
rubble.
Instead of having to create fake rubble for the movie.
Yeah, it's nice when you get that verisimilitude of using actual sets instead of mock-ups and CGIs. And so it's really nice when nature decides to be contributory instead of taking away from something.
I mean, the earthquake in LA wasn't good as a whole, but, take advantage of the opportunity while you got it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, what they said here that lava had not flowed in Iceland for something like over 1,000 years or something like that in the article. I'm just quick skimming here. I'm looking for the big number because it was written out as a number, so I should be able to find it pretty. It was March 2020 when it erupted. Oh yeah, first time the lava had flowed in the area in nearly 6,000 years. So.
Wow.
And it lasted, record-breaking eruption that lasted longer than any in Iceland in half a century. Because it erupted for 6 months. And they were shooting in Iceland during the time. And it started in March of 2021. I mean, that's just, they rolled a critical success on that shooting schedule right there.
Yeah, they did.
They did. All right, and I just wanted to mention that one's another really quick one. Like I said, some of these are going to come real rapid fire today. So we will embellish a little bit as we go along. Next up is a PlayStation topic. PlayStation Plus members.
Yeah, PlayStation Plus members are getting the new games for PS Plus Essentials was just announced a couple of days back, and this is a really good month. So last month in July we got Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, the Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan, and Arcadegeddon. this month we are getting in August, which is officially live now because August 2nd. Getting
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which is a fantastic Tony Hawk game. If you have any interest in skateboarding games, get this game. I paid full price for it, and I'm still very happy with it. And this is one, even when I recently upgraded my PS5 storage from 600 gigs to 6 terabytes. But even when I was stuck to 600 gigs, I kept Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 installed because I wanted to be able to keep playing it. Just like on a whim.
Yeah, you've gushed about this title before.
Yeah. So you're getting this game for free with PS Plus Essentials, and then you're also getting Yakuza Like a Dragon and Little Nightmares. Now, I've never played either of these other two games, Yakuza Like a Dragon or Little Nightmares, and I'm going to be adding them to my PS Plus library. But they do have both, they've both been highly regarded. Like, I've had people recommending both games. I've got one friend that's been trying to talk me into playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now that I have it for PS Plus, I don't have an excuse. Although, I might have had it on Game Pass. I don't remember.
Let me guess the friend. I might be wrong, but Angel?
No, Jonathan.
Jonathan, what, I can't think of his last name right now, but I know which Jonathan you're probably talking about.
Starts with an O? Friends with Ralphie?
Jonathan Orlando's?
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure it was him that was
He was before I lived with Ralphie.
And then, and Little Nightmares is something that looks really nice. I've watched some streamers play this before, and I thought it looked really neat. So yeah, this is a good time for PS Plus Essentials. They're putting out some good games between last month and this month.
And
just putting out some bangers.
Jonathan's a huge PlayStation fan, so he knows his PlayStation games. Maybe not as much as you, but he's a little bit more specialized to PlayStation than you are, because you go all kinds of consoles. Although I think Jonathan has an Xbox and a PlayStation. PlayStation, I do believe, is his favorite.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he has a lot of consoles. Like he has
several.
He even has Steel Battalion for the original Xbox with that controller that had like 92 buttons.
Yeah. Well, because he likes his console games, and he's got it on his big screen TV in the main room of his house. Because, like I said, right after one of the confusions, right after I had my kidney failure, and I was couch surfing for a little while. I did couch surf at his house for a little bit before me and Ralphie moved in as roommates, and before I met my girlfriend. So I know Jonathan quite well. Him and Serena are good friends of mine.
Cool. Jonathan was at my place just a few days ago. I somehow made a mistake when I was ordering some Domino's, and I got the wrong kind of wings. I accidentally got buffalo
hot wings.
Like hot buffalo wings, which I can't eat. It hurts my stomach real bad. I get ulcers. I was meaning to get honey barbecue, and so I was like, well, I thought that maybe they just put the wrong thing in the box or whatever. But then I checked the app, and the app said I ordered buffalo wings. I was like,
oops, you clicked wrong.
Oh, and maybe I hit the wrong button. I wasn't paying. Maybe I got distracted while ordering or something. I don't know. So I just made a Facebook post. I was like, hey, who wants some hot buffalo wings for free? You can come and get them. I can't eat them. And Jonathan calls me up, and so he swung by. He doesn't live far from me, and swung by.
Yeah,
and then
I know.
Around for like 45 minutes, an hour, and just chatted about various bullshit.
We used to make a vegetarian sandwich at his house that was based on one that was at one of the places downtown. Can't remember the name of the place, but it had bell pepper and it had sriracha in it, and it had all this stuff. And he used to make it every once in a while for me and him. And that was back when I could still handle my hot stuff before my kidney failure made it to where I can't handle a lot of things anymore. But ooh, was it good! And it was a kind of a special treat for me and him.
You know, it sucks. I've had several times where like my taste buds change or discover something about flavor, and I find I like something I didn't know I liked or something, and then I feel like so many times that's happened, and then not too long later, I end up having a health reason that I'm not supposed to eat that anymore. Like I grew up thinking I hated orange juice. Turns out I just hated Sunny D. Regular
Sunny
orange
D
juice
is not orange
great.
juice.
like a year after I start drinking orange juice. And I'm not even drinking a lot. Like, it's not,
Well,
I'm, enjoying it. And then I get diagnosed with ulcers, and they're like, oh, you can't drink orange juice or blah, 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 blah. It's like,
and Sunny D is not orange juice. It's orange juice punch.
Yeah. As a kid, I did not know that. As a kid, I didn't know that. I thought it was like just a brand of orange juice, and I still absolutely hate Sunny D.
I like Sunny D California style, but for the most part, I don't do Sunny D. I do California style Sunny D, and then I use real fresh squeezed orange juice.
Now, as a kid, I did hate spicy food, but I'm very slowly growing to like spicy food. But I can't go too spicy, right? Like,
because you're also
I'm too Irish and German for real spicy foods. But I do like some spicy food.
I'm from Southern California. I live on spicy food.
However, the whole ulcer situation kicks in again.
Yeah.
And then I grew up thinking I hated cheese unless it was on pizza. Turns out I just hate American cheese, like the regular
American cheese. Again, that's not cheese. American cheese is mostly plastic. It's wax.
It's what every restaurant uses almost. Like every fast food place at least uses for their cheese. Like almost every place where you can get a burger with cheese, it's almost always American cheese.
Yeah, and all American is trimmings and stuff melted together with a little added like wax, and it is very terrible stuff. It's what they call cheese product, not cheese, and it's horrible stuff. I like white American, but I don't like orange American.
So I finally figured I like cheese, and I started like experimenting with a little bit more cheese and eating it. And it turns out I'm lactose intolerant. So I'm not supposed to eat cheese.
Well, you need to get into like try some like yogurt cheeses and goat cheeses, because sometimes the lactose is already broken down in those, so that you can take them even if you're lactose intolerant.
Maybe.
Anyway. On the food subject, before we move on to the next subject, I did get a confirmation just before the show started that the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell officially comes back for good, not limited time, on September 15th. So the Mexican pizza will be back for good.
So I don't have an issue at all with that. What I am going to be annoyed with is I'm sure certain friends of mine are going to now say, yeah, Taco Bell is a pizza place now.
It's not a pizza place. It has a Mexican pizza, which is in no way a pizza. It's more like a version of a tostada.
I just know that sometime in the next few months, I'm going to be like, hey, let's go get some pizza. And they're like, yeah, I love Taco Bell. Fuck you and your Taco Bell.
No, it's not pizza. And you know what? In reality, you know what the Mexican pizza really is? It's a controlled nacho.
Yeah.
Everything you would put on a nacho, but it's controlled because of how they build it, so that you get nice, even portioning of toppings and stuff. Once they put it in everything, and then it all screws up.
Everything at Taco Bell is the same 4 ingredients, just arranged differently. You got one, you got the curved one, you got the soft one. I mean, it's the same.
Well, a lot of Americans think of Mexican food as a tortilla with rice, beans, or meat, and then veggies and cheese. And that's pretty much what Taco Bell type Mexican food really is. Because it's the shape of the tortilla. Is it flour or corn? And what shape is it in? And then it's which meat choice do you have? Chicken, steak, or ground beef? Or is it vegetarian? And then what do you have, beans? Yes or no? Do you have rice? Yes or no? Does it have lettuce, tomato, onion, salsa, guacamole, or sour cream? Yes or no? It doesn't have cheese. Of course it has cheese. That's Taco Bell. And that's a lot of Americanized Mexican food. Actual Mexican food doesn't have nearly...
Whether it's a taco or a taquito or a burrito or a Mexican pizza, if it's from Taco Bell, it's the same thing in a different shape.
Yeah, it's really just only a couple of options that change. Like, you can get most of the food at Taco Bell that's in the ground beef version. You can get it as steak or chicken. But
you get a Mexican pizza, but you really wanted the taco, just fold that bitch in half.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. But anyway, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is, okay, I do not have a From the Vault this week, but instead, what I'm recommending to you is a brand new, this year, Bruce Willis movie, one of the last ones he did, one of the last sci-fi-ish movies he did. But I'm pointing it out because of a couple of things. One, Bruce Willis is in it. We love Bruce Willis, even if a lot of his most recent stuff has been just throwaway direct-to-DVD and direct-to-stream stuff that he was just doing his money grab. But now with his health, he's pretty much done with even that. But this is a good, or okay Bruce Willis from what I've seen of it so far. I need to go back and rewatch it because I did fall asleep on it, which, as we all know, it happens with me anyway because of my chronic fatigue disorder. But It's got Bruce Willis in it. It's also got Michael Rooker in it, which we love from Guardians of the Galaxy, among other things. You know, Michael Rooker played in Guardians of the Galaxy. He played in The Suicide Squad. He's played in so many different shows. And he plays in it. And then Tom Cavanaugh, which many people will remember from the Flash series as as Harry, or the Reverse Flash, Harrison Wells, or Harry, or Eobard Thawne as one version of Eobard Thawne. One of the most recurring characters, yes, Harrison Nash. He's been so many different versions, multiversal versions of Harrison, and Eobard Thawne masquerading as Harrison in the Flash TV series with Grant Gustin. And so it's nice to see him in a different role because I hadn't seen him in a lot other than that. And Corrective Measures has Tom Cavanaugh in it. And to add to it, to make it even more appealing, besides it being Bruce Willis, besides it being Michael Rooker, besides it being Tom Cavanaugh, it's also a supers movie because the movie is about a prison for supers. The first ever prison for supers in a world where supers have come out. And so Michael Rooker plays the overseer or warden of the prison. Bruce Willis plays the psychic called the Loeb, who's kind of like a crime boss in the prison. And Tom Cavanaugh plays a character called the Conductor, who's got electrical powers, conducting electricity, the Conductor. And one of the first prisoners to be sentenced to this prison. So it follows what happens at the prison. Rooker's about ready to retire, and he's trying to blackmail Bruce Willis's character to have him, since he's never going to get out of jail anyway, let him know and transfer the money that he had stolen to Rooker so that he can retire on it. And there's all kinds of infighting and stuff. But it's kind of neat. You get little bits of superpowers in it, but mostly the inmates have nullifiers that they wear. But, you know, it's got the super theme we like. It's another chance to see Bruce Willis before he kind of goes down in a blaze of glory. And so it was produced by Tubi, of all stations. Tubi doesn't usually do its own original programming, but they're starting to do it like all the other streamers are. And this is a Tubi presentation. So, of course, that means it's 100% free to watch, but you might have commercials. But you can go watch Corrective Measures on Tubi right now. And it's my current recommendation. It's not a From the Vault recommendation because it's not from the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. It is a 2022 release. But it's still worth the watch, I think. And I'm going to go back and rewatch it again try to stay up and fight the chronic fatigue and get all the way through it, because I was enjoying what I did see of it before I passed out. It's not as action heavy as Bruce Willis is you're used to seeing. Of the parts I saw, he might have got more action in later on. But then again, since it's from this year and his major illness stuff is happening more this year, he could have been taking it more easy too. But check it out. That's all I got to say on that matter. I'd seen a post about it on like Facebook or something, although I don't even think this is what it was called at the time. And then when I went and explored and found out what it was, I had to go watch it. In fact, me and Lurch had been talking in something like just yesterday, and he had mentioned going to go watch Harley Quinn for the show today to catch up on the series. And then I caught this right after I got off the line with him, and I was like, oh, I got to go watch this like right away. and can you blame me? It's a super with Bruce Willis and Tom Cavanaugh in it. I mean, yeah. Okay. So check it out. Another real quick topic. I mean, we're just now coming on 9 o'clock, and we've shot 3 topics, and we've still got more to go. In fact, it's time for an Xbox topic.
Yes, Xbox Game Pass. So, yeah, I mean, we're at the new month, and, you know, with the new month, we got, you know, like I covered the PlayStation Plus Essentials new stuff, and now we got Xbox Game Pass new stuff for August. We're getting a few games coming to Game Pass. We've got, I'm going to go through, like, the whole list here. We've got Ghost Recon Wildlands coming to cloud, console, and PC, which is available now. Shenzhen IO coming to PC, ID at Xbox, August 4th. We got Turbo Golf Racing, cloud PC and Xbox Series XS. So not the older Xboxes. ID at Xbox, August 4th. 2 Point Campus, cloud console and PC, August 9th. Cooking Simulator, cloud console PC, August 11th. Expeditions Rome, PC, August 11th. Off-World Trading Company, PC, ID at Xbox, August 11th. Midnight Fight Express, console and PC, August 23rd. And Immortality, console PC, August 30th. So that's just a quick rundown of like the list of games. I think some of the highlights are probably going to be the Ghost Recon Wildlands. I haven't played the Ghost Recon games, but I know that those are pretty big. I'm curious about Turbo Golf Racing. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be.
No idea. I've heard some stuff good about Cooking Simulator.
Yeah, there's a Cooking Simulator, cloud console and PC, August 11th.
For people who like simulators, I've heard good things about that one. So
have you?
Yeah, I've not played it, but I've heard.
There's more and more of these simulator games coming out all the time.
People want to simulate everything that you can actually go do in real life. So I don't know. And then there's some leaving the Game Pass in August, and it points out that Boyfriend Dungeon is leaving, Dead Gods is leaving. Library of Ruins is leaving.
Starmancer. I'm not sure the pronunciation. It ends with an A.
Starmancer is leaving, and the Train Sim World 2 is leaving.
Yeah, those are going to be leaving Game Pass by August 15th. If you want to keep playing them, you'll have to purchase them by then to keep playing those games. And then we got some new perks coming to Game Pass Ultimates. Fall Guys Coconut Milk Costume available now, so a new costume for your little Fall Guys bean. Skate 3 has an upgrade bundle coming out on August 11th. And then Elder Scrolls Online has a Nowhere pack coming out, available August 16th.
Nowhere pack.
Huh?
That would be pronounced Nowhere.
Nowhere?
Nowhere. Because the W-E-Y-R spelling, I don't know if it's related, but in Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Rider books, a weir was a dragon's home. So I'm thinking it might be related to that in some way. Because the weir, they were called weir riders, and the weir was where the dragons lived. And so No Weir kind of gives hints towards possibly draconic origins, even if it's just like a play on words or an homage. It would be neat. I'm a big Dragon Riders of Pern fan. Anne McCaffrey's one of my favorite authors. And so that's kind of interesting to see. That spelling, because you only find it, she kind of originated that little spelling for a dragon den or home or nest. So that's interesting. It looks like it's got a deal right now, 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate for $135. Save $224.
Yeah. But to take advantage of that, it says that you have to not have a currently active Game Pass subscription. But yeah, if you don't have an active Game Pass subscription and you're thinking about getting it, you can try out this deal that they're advertising here at IGN.com about getting 2 years of it for $135. That is really cheap, honestly, because it's Ultimate is $15 a month if you pay monthly, and then you can buy it for a year at a time, and I think it comes out to $120 per year. Getting 2 years for $135 is a huge is a steal.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal savings.
So yeah, other games that have recently come out for Game Pass that you might have missed, people, is there's this new game called As Dusk Falls. I might have mentioned in a previous episode that it's a very narrative-driven game. There's not a whole lot of gameplay. It's kind of like, it's all, it's like still art that has movement and dialogue and choices. And so like the gameplay of that is really all about choices as you get through this, and there's a lot of different branching storylines and things like that. It looks like it's a good game for folks that are into being able to have kind of a relaxed experience where they're just kind of enjoying a story that they get to have an impact on, like a choose your own adventure book sort of a situation. That is getting a lot of recognition recently as seems to be a hit.
Another thing they do mention in this article here about stacking if you've got Xbox Live Gold is, although you can pre-subscribe for up to 36 months for $180, any more than that is lost. So to keep things safe, they recommend not pre-subscribing for more than 12 months or 24 months, 2 years worth at $120. And then here's the fun part. Once you redeem these codes and have stacked your Xbox Live Gold membership up to your liking, you can then convert this time to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate at a 1-to-1 ratio. So you can stack and then convert it to Ultimate Game Pass. So that's one way that you can pre-order before prices go up and not worry so much. So that's another way if you're already a subscriber to Xbox Live Gold. So that's worth mentioning too, I think, for people who are trying to save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And people like you who will buy that many years in advance of Game Pass and stuff to save a few bucks, because you know you're going to keep it anyway, so you might as well save the money where you can. We're going to move on to our next topic, and we're going to mix a couple of things in with this. Big sad face here. The next big thing is the fact that, and let me close this stupid pop-up thing, is The Flash is speeding to an end. The Grant Gustin show that we knew was getting renewed for Season 9 has officially been announced that Season 9 will not only be the last season of The Flash, but we are only getting a truncated 13 episodes. Now, as some people may realize, Grant was offered previously, before the big buyout of the CW, he was offered a multi-year contract deal, but he turned it down to do it season to season, and which is, for the actors, is usually a better thing. That way they can renegotiate their contract every year. And Greg Gustin had a pretty secure place where he was. And if he wanted to keep going, I bet you they still would have kept him going, even with the buyout. But as some people may know, Grant's partner just recently had a baby, so he's getting ready to go into fatherhood. So, and his season 9 deal, which he announced earlier in the year, was for like $200,000 per episode. At 13 episodes, that's $2.6 million for the season that he's going to make. As it is, that should be enough to where him and his partner and his child can live comfortably with him not having to work for a little while and getting to be a dad. And I think that's what the plan is in the cards for Grant right now, is to kind of take a break, be the vet. Plus, of course, stuff is still up in the air about the Flash movie, and we're going to talk more about that right now too. First off, the other big bombshell that hit just earlier today is they've decided to scrap the plans for 2 upcoming WB shows, at least one of which is 90% done, and that was the Batgirl movie. Me and Lurch were talking about that right before the show. Batgirl's been scrapped, and they'd already invested like $90 million into that, and it was mostly done, like 90% done. And the other one is the Scoob sequel has been scrapped. So between the two of them, they got something like $170 million or $130 million, something like that. The Scooby-Doo sequel.
Scoob? Oh, Scooby-Doo, Scoob? Okay.
Yeah, the Scoob sequel. And they're now saying that neither one of them is either going to get a theatrical or HBO Max release. And so a lot of the commenters online are screaming that, well, if they can scrap that, and that's $130+ million that they've already invested, then they can no longer quote money is the reason why they're not scrapping. Hold on a second. I'm broadcasting. Can I help you? Okay, love you. Bye. Sorry, girlfriend's in the wrong time zone. She forgot I was broadcasting. I was like, I'm broadcasting. Can I help you? Anyway, yeah. She forgot. Anyway, they cannot say that it's money that's keeping them from recasting and reshooting the Flash movie if they're willing to sink this much money into the Batgirl and Scoob movies, be mostly done, and then scrap them and not run them. Now, and their other excuses is because they only want to put money into big feature movies in the DCEU right now for movies. So the Batgirl's not a big enough one, I guess, and Scoob is not big enough, and that's not in Marvel. I mean, not in DC anyway. But I don't know. See, I'm kind of split on the fence because, I mean, yes, the Batgirl movie could have been great, and it had several people attached to it, like Brendan Fraser, Michael Keaton, and of course the new fresh face actress.
Wait, Brendan Fraser was attached to the movie?
Brendan Fraser was attached to the movie.
Oh.
Michael Keaton is attached to the movie. And then I don't know the actress's name that was going to play. Something great.
The official word from from Discovery Warner Brothers was they canceled it because after watching the test footage or the screen footage that they have, they decided that it just doesn't work.
It wasn't good enough.
And yeah, it wasn't good enough, and they would rather lose that money than hurt their reputation by putting it out.
And one commenter to that on the Twitterverse and stuff said, and a few people have come in agreement with him, is if a movie is considered to be so bad that it could possibly like kill the genre, which is the only thing they could think of that would stop them from not putting out a movie that's mostly done, then it needs to be released yesterday because people want to see something so bad like that, because it could be so bad you have to watch it. like a train wreck. So
Yeah.
who knows? It might end up getting pressured into being released at some point later on. Now, the other thing that that you got to consider, though, when it comes to the Flash movie, unlike the Batgirl movie, the Flash movie has been in production for so long and had so many delays and the holdbacks and stuff. There's a big reason why they don't want to reshoot the Flash. It's because they've already done so much, and they've handled it through COVID and everything else, that they would almost rather do a quiet release of the Flash with not as much fanfare than to scrap the Flash or go back, spend the money, and reshoot the Flash. But we don't know. They might do it. I mean, yes, Ezra Miller is being like majorly targeted in the media. He's on the run by the police. He's got several allegations against him. You know, yes, that's happened. But also there's his side of the story, and we're not going to get into who's right or wrong or anything, because that's not our place to say. We don't know what all's involved.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that there's so much going on, and there's so much going on with Warner Brothers, period, right now, that maybe they just decided that those two movies are just not worth the risk. You know, and that's fine. They have to make those kind of decisions, especially when they're getting rid of a property like the CW for really a non-cash transaction. I mean, it was worth money, but it was not a cash transaction. It was a debt transaction for 75% of the rights. And that's controlling rights by a big margin. Because you only have to give 1% over of the 50% mark to give controlling rights, and they give 75%. That's a heck of a give to the Nextel media company.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there's a lot going on with the Flash. There's a lot going on with the Flash TV series now, obviously.
Now, they have put out some information saying that I think Michael Keaton will appear still in the Flash movie, even though he was supposed to be in the Batgirl movie, but he won't be. That won't be happening. But now he's still going to be in the Flash movie, and also they've announced that Ben Affleck will be in Aquaman.
In Aquaman 2, yes.
Yeah, his Batman will be coming back in the Aquaman 2 movie.
Jason Momoa was coming out of one of the sets for Aquaman 2 while a tour group was coming on, and who was next to him but Ben Affleck? And that kind of let the cat out of the bag, and so Jason Momoa gave like basically a leak that we're going to get Affleck in the Aquaman 2 movie, which is kind of exciting news. And then, of course, we've got so much else going on with Warner Brothers. I mean, we've got the upcoming series Gotham Knights, which looks kind of interesting, and now may not be in the Arrowverse, especially since we're now officially ending the Arrowverse. Now, that's not to say that in the 9th season we can't necessarily have a crossover between Grant Gustin's Flash and Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. There's a couple of ways they could still do it. One, we know that Tyler Hoechlin plays the Superman of Earth Prime as well as the Superman of Superman and Lois, even though they're different Earths, because he's appeared in Crisis, among other things, as Kara's cousin. So we know he's from Earth Prime. It's Tyler Hoechlin. Also, just like how Flash used to visit Kara when she was on a separate Earth, Flash and Superman both have crossed dimensions before. Flash is quite good at it. Not to mention he has Vibe, who can get him anywhere he needs to go if he really needs to. So,
can Vibe still do that? I don't think he can do that
if he
anymore.
can't do it with his own powers, you know he'll do it with tech.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Vibe. He's what's his name? He's
Mecha Vibe.
Yeah, he's Mecha Vibe. But he's also what's his character's name?
He did Cisco. He did make those little devices so that Flash could, other people could travel between dimensions. So he did
That's
come up
right.
with a tech way.
So he is Cisco.
Yeah.
He's probably second only to Harrison Wells in intelligence in the Flashverse, kind of.
Yeah. On the subject of WB properties, have you seen anything about the video game Multiverses? It's a fighting game like Smash Brothers, but with WB properties.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen anything really about it, but that's something else. WB has got so many irons in the fire, and there's so much going on with WB Entertainment. They're just they've got the merger with Discovery Plus. They've got the selling of CW. They've got the expansion of the digital arm.
Well, I was just going to talk about that a little bit. I've been playing Multiverses recently. I'm about, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours into it. It's in beta at the moment, but as I understand, anything in beta carries over to the full game when it comes out, I think, later this month or something. Anyway, so I've been playing it, and it's been quite fun. The basis of how the game works and everything is all really well made. I think it's a lot of fun. The only downside I have with it is some of the free-to-play, because it is free-to-play, some of the free-to-play mechanics have some, gotcha stuff to it. But, I was having so much fun playing it, I did go ahead and spend a little bit of real money to bypass some of that, so I can get to the characters a little easier and just have fun with it, I figure if I'm going to be, as much as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to end up playing it quite a bit, might as well spend a few bucks on it. And so my main is Superman, but they've got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, just of what's playable right now. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, who come together as a pair. What's great about Tom and Jerry is a lot of their attacks is Tom trying to hit Jerry, and then Jerry dodging it, and the attack hitting the other player. And he'll swing a baseball bat or a stick at Jerry. Jerry ducks, but then the stick hits the other player.
That'd be totally if they did Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner that way. Doing something like that.
They have an original character called Rain Dog. They got a couple of characters from Steven Universe that I can't think of their names.
I don't know
Steven Universe,
so that's okay.
They have a couple of characters from Adventure Time. They got
I don't watch
dog,
either.
Jake the dog, and then the kid. I don't remember the kid's name.
I don't watch Adventure Time either.
Yeah. They have oh crap, who else was there? They've got LeBron James, the basketball player.
Space Jam.
And he's wearing his outfit from Space Jam.
If they're doing Warner Brothers properties, they can do the Iron Giant. They could do Kaiju movies.
The Iron Giant's in the game. He's playable.
They could do Kaiju because Godzilla and King Kong are WB properties.
Are they? I thought they were Universal.
Well, they're kind of, because they're also WB in association with Universal. Matrix. Maybe. They could use stuff from the Matrix.
Oh my gosh, you're right. They could use Matrix.
They could use.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they could do.
I hope they did announce that the next characters, the next set of characters they've revealed are Rick and Morty. It looks like there's two separate playable characters, Rick and Morty. And I saw a little bit of footage of Rick, and he's got his portal gun, so he can step into his portals that he opens and pop out in different areas of the map. And that looks like a lot of fun.
Back onto other WB stuff. Now the rumor mill is going crazy, but one of the best suggestions I saw in the rumor mill after the Batgirl announcement is to possibly take that version of Batgirl and bring her into the CW verse somehow.
Yeah.
Possibly do that. And the same thing is true with the Supergirl from the Flash movie. If that ends up having some trouble, because we're supposed to get Supergirl footage in the Flash movie, and if not, you could possibly bring them into the CW verse with maybe make her a version of Power Girl, a different kind of Supergirl iteration. Because, of course, Power Girl is like a variant of Supergirl. And those are kind of things. There's so much happening, though, in the DC front. It's just hard to keep up with all the different things that I've seen. There was talk about possibly having Dylan O'Brien play Nightwing in an upcoming DCEU project. And Dylan O'Brien said he hadn't been approached about it, but if he liked the script or so he liked the concept, he'd do it. And of course, Dylan O'Brien is the one that played Styles in the Teen Wolf TV series, as well as the main character in the Maze Runner series.
So I saw some footage. Squirrel Allie, she was watching some Teen Wolf, the TV show. Or maybe she was watching a Teen Wolf movie. I don't remember.
The Teen Wolf movie's not out yet, unless it's the old Teen Wolf movie.
I think it was a trailer for Teen Wolf the movie.
Could have been.
While we were watching it, I was like, yeah, that's what it was. It was a trailer for the new Teen Wolf the movie that came out just like a week or two ago. And while we were watching it, I was like, wow, this is a very different Teen Wolf than I remember. And she's like, what are you talking about? It looks just like the show. I was like, no, the Teen Wolf I know is from the 80s with Michael J.
Fox or the sequel with Bateman in it. Right. You saw the Teen Wolf 1 or Teen Wolf 2, the movies. And Michael J. Fox was in the first one, and Jason Bateman was in the second one. And they were both werewolves. And they were much more silly. And then the MTV TV series starred Tyler Posey and Tyler Hoechlin and Dylan O'Brien. And it ran for several seasons. And it was nice you watch Superman and Lois now, and you see Tyler Hoechlin as the ultimate Boy Scout Superman, and he plays that role really well. He gives you the impression of the good guy Clark Kent. But in the Teen Wolf series, he was a loner asshole, and he plays that well too. And if you watch the two characters and they're the only time you've experienced the actor is either one, you would not believe they were the other character because they're night and day different. Because Tyler Hoechlin has a heck of a range to him. And so, and I love him as Superman. I think he's a great Clark Kent. I love the adaptation of Superman and Lois. I think they're doing a fantastic job. And I loved him in Teen Wolf. And so I'm looking forward to the Teen Wolf movie. And there's also work on a Teen Wolf spin-off TV series. Now, the other thing about Dylan O'Brien is he's the only main character from the Teen Wolf series that has confirmed and has assured everybody he's not coming back for the movie. He's like, he loves his cast members, his co-cast members, and he loved his time and Styles, but he thinks that that's not where he's at right now in his acting career, and he's pretty much done with that role, but that might change later on. But we're not expecting to see Dylan O'Brien in the new Teen Wolf movie, but that's another thing, is the Teen Wolf movie is getting a lot of press as well. So much got press at San Diego Comic-Con that we didn't even cover because, there was just so much going on. And a lot of new stuff has been released since then. What else have we not quite talked about yet? Oh, John Bernthal is going to be reprising his role as the Punisher.
Is that official? I've read that as rumors, but I haven't seen anything official.
No, from what I hear now, it's an official thing that's going to happen. But I'd have to find an article to make sure it's absolutely official. But there's also rumors, that even as early as the She-Hulk series, we might see some of the other Defenders. Um, Stretch. Okay. In the She-Hulk series, we might either see or hear about Jessica Jones and Luke Cage at least.
Yeah.
There's almost no chance we're going to see Danny Rand because it's just not popular. If we get a Danny Rand later, he will probably be recast because most people did not like the version of Danny Rand that we got in the Netflix shows. And that's surprising because every other one of the Netflix shows was wildly well received. Luke Cage was majorly successful. Daredevil,
it's the actor. It's
yeah.
the star of
runaway success.
Everything else about this show I liked. I just didn't like Danny Rand.
Yeah, his supporting cast were great.
Yeah, Colleen Wing, freaking awesome.
Yeah,
I'd watch a show about Colleen Wing any day.
Yeah, that
I might be mispronouncing her name. It's been a while since I watched it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that is her name. But yeah, it was the whole Defenders subset series is great, which brings me to another media thing. Disney Plus is finally building towards their first crossover series because Secret Invasion is supposed to be now officially a crossover event. That means that Disney Plus will be doing their first crossover event. Now, do I think it's going to be as big as Crisis on Infinite Earth? No possible way. They had to build to that. Crisis on Infinite Earth was the biggest TV crossover event probably ever done.
Yeah. I did read that Kevin Feige said that the reason why Phase 4 doesn't have an Avengers movie to top it, to end it on, is because the whole phase is a series of crossover events.
It's crossover events and redemption arcs. It's supposed to be what Phase 4 is about. Also, we talked about this after the show last week too, so we haven't talked about this with our listeners. It's come to light why we might be having to wait so long for the Mutants to come out. The actual X-Men adaptation is because even though Fox was purchased by Disney and Disney now owns them, the contracts with the actors say that nobody else can be cast over them in the role of their version of the character. So, like for instance, McAvoy is the only one that can play young Professor X, and Patrick Stewart is the only one that can play older Professor X by their contract until their contracts run out. They get around it in Multiverse of Madness. They could use Professor X because they use Patrick Stewart. They get around it by doing Deadpool 3 because they're still using Ryan Reynolds. But unless it's a character that hasn't been used already and or had an actor that like died or something so that they could recast them or have their contract, end, they cannot recast somebody. But they can do somebody that they haven't really done without too much problem. Like, for instance, Colossus in the Deadpool movie is, never really fully know who's playing Colossus, and I don't think it's really contractually locked in. So they could probably do a version of Colossus. And if they wanted to do somebody like Longshot, they could do Longshot because Longshot has not appeared in any of the movies. Or Forge. Forge hasn't appeared in any of the movies. So they could do Forge. But they, or something like that. But they could not do anybody that's on a movie contract as long as that version has been done in one of the movie contracts. But that expires in like 2025. So once 2025 starts, we can now get the mutants on the docket, and they could possibly recast some of these characters, because as much as we love like Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and such, Hugh Jackman has pretty much said he's pretty much done with the role, and Patrick Stewart is ready to retire the role. And they, as Marvel, want to recast these characters going forward into the cinematic universe so they can use them for a long period of time. And let's face it, as much as we love Patrick Stewart, he's getting a little long in the tooth to play Professor Xavier. And McAvoy is getting a little bit done with the role, and we're ready to do a different young Xavier if we decide to go that route, and so on. And we want to do recastings of people like Storm and Shadowcat and Nightcrawler, and we want to see these experienced as new actors, and to do that we have to get out of their contract lockdown, and that's why we can't do it. And that makes sense, and I'm okay with that. I mean, it means we have to wait. And it brings me to yet another reveal. We've had all these nice reveals of stuff, and these are interrelated. Another one we learned is that Ryan Gosling, I mean, he's talked about a few things. He's actually said and told them that at Marvel that the one character he would most like to play in the Marvel universe is Ghost Rider. And Feige has not disillusioned him in the fact he's talking to Ryan Gosling. He has said he's possibly amenable to that fact. So we could get Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider, which I think as a Danny Blaze Ghost Rider would work really well. Ryan Gosling could pull that off. That would be a good one. What was the other thing that we heard? Oh, okay. The kid that played Eggsy in The Kingsman, a lot of people heard he was talking to them about being in a Marvel role, and a lot of the rumors came out that he was possibly going to be cast as Wolverine, but in actuality, the role that they presented to him was Cyclops. However, he didn't want the role because he didn't think he could do a role where the audience did not get to see his eyes ever, because the eyes were a big part of the reflection of the actor's emotions and stuff. So he didn't know if he could do a role like that. And of course, Cyclops has always got his eyes covered. So he didn't know if he could do a role like that. So there's so much more information coming out. I mean, it's just all this kind of stuff is being realized, and we've got so much more coming out. This Friday, The Sandman premieres on Netflix. They Them premieres on Peacock. I mean, media is crazy set to explode. It's just we're in a slight dead window right now. What is our next subject? Because we spent a lot of time and done a lot of tangents here. Let me see what I have for the next subject. I think it's a PlayStation one for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's about the VR, PlayStation VR early look.
Yeah. We still don't have a release date, but they did give us some more information about the user interface of PlayStation VR 2. This is on PlayStation's blog, on the PlayStation blog, where senior staff product manager Yasuo Takahashi, who I apologize for mispronouncing, I am certain more ways than you can probably count. Anyway, they are showing a little bit more about it. One of the features they're showing is a see-through view, where the cameras of the headset are able to, you can touch a thing on the controller and make it switch to see-through, so you can be around the room and pick up your controllers if they're sitting down, things like that. It's a function that Oculus Quest 2 has that is great that they're including onto this. Because I don't know if you've spent any time in VR, but the first PSVR, you had to take your headset off if you wanted to see anything. I would always just like have my controllers like in hand,
What
strapped to my wrist already, and then put on the headset.
you know what functionality that could add to too that they're not thinking of? AR.
Yeah.
So a VR headset that could also do AR would be kind of neat.
Yeah, if
They
they
could do
chose to
stuff
put
like
AR in there, it's
they could do
possible.
like an AR thing for like a lot of there's room design sims out there now where you can remodel your house using
Yeah.
an AR program, or you could have a big Pokemon Go kind of experience or zombie survival experience in AR that incorporated your own actual town and scenery in an AR
Yeah.
kind of environment.
Yeah.
And if they've got
So
kind of
there's been no talk about AR here, about the PSVR 2. I
right,
wouldn't expect it to be, but maybe.
but it would be
Um,
something that they could build to with
yeah.
this kind of functionality, because a front-facing camera would allow something like AR to happen.
Yeah.
If you've got a screen interpreter to a front-facing camera, that's all AR is, and all a VR visor is a screen interpreter. You just do the screen
Hmm.
interpreter and the front-facing camera together is AR, which is VR and AR meeting together. So that would
Yeah.
be an interesting permutation of this. So that'd be fantastic if they decided to do it, because we're getting that much closer to like our true virtual reality kind of synergies
Yeah.
that we're looking for.
So our next feature that they are revealing is you can broadcast yourself while playing. A new broadcast feature for PSVR 2 will allow you to film yourself while playing by connecting a PS5 HD camera to the console. They say it's a great way to show your movements and reactions during a boss battle and share your reactions with your fellow gamers as it
Oh,
happens.
you could have a little picture of you like up in the corner with them
Yeah,
seeing you actually do your movements. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. If you scroll down, they show an image of the player down in the bottom right, with their headset on
oh
while
yeah,
they're
there we go.
playing the Horizon VR game.
Nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good, because then you could people could see you and how vigorously you're moving and all that kind of stuff during it and on a stream, which would be great for streamers who wanted to stream VR content, because
Exactly.
there's getting to be more VR streamers now. Um, Everything is going stream. I mean, like us, we're streaming with you right now. Hey,
Yeah.
what an example! No,
And then they got this another feature called Customized Play Area. They say the play area for your PSVR 2 can be customized using the sense controllers and the embedded cameras. The cameras will allow you to scan the room, while the PSVR 2 sense controllers allow you to expand and further customize the play area to fit your style. This looks similar to something that the Oculus Quest 2 does, or now it's called the Meta Quest 2. Only it looks like it's a little bit more technical. It looks like it does a little bit more, because it's actually able to, like, the Quest is able to tell like how tall the floor is, and you kind of push it down and then you draw a border. This looks like it sends out like it uses the sensors and cameras to scan the room to see where obstacles and objects are. It says that while playing, if you get close to the boundary you have set up, you'll receive a warning that you are closely approaching the play area boundary. You can modify these settings anytime while PSVR 2 is connected. Once you set up your play area, the settings will be saved unless you move into a different play area.
no.
So this is pretty cool.
Keeps you from doing things like running into your coffee table while you're playing and shit.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last thing they mention is VR mode and cinematic mode. They said in VR mode, players can enjoy VR game content in a 360 view in a virtual environment. Content will be displayed at 4000 by 2040 HDR video format. So it looks like 4K high definition.
2K per eye.
Or 4K HDR, which is contrasting. Sorry. And then 2K basically per eye, with 90 hertz and 120 hertz frame rates, which is a lot higher than I would have expected, you know. In cinematic mode, players can view the PS5 system and user interface in an all non-VR game and media content on a virtual cinema screen. Content in cinematic mode will be displayed on a 1920 by 1080 HDR video format with 24 to 60 hertz and also 120 hertz frame rates.
No.
PSVR 2 game developers will begin to access the latest user experiences for the VR2 in a new system software release coming soon as part of the ongoing development. There are lots of exciting things to look forward to. Let's see here. Can't wait to share more details, yada yada, share more information, including launch date soon. And additional games. So,
that's exciting because I know there's a lot of people that wanted to be able to play their non-VR PlayStation games using the PlayStation VR headset as a screen projection somehow, and the cinematic mode sounds like that's exactly what it is. So that you can
you can do that in like the existing VR equipment.
But now it's actually optimized for it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be better optimized. I mean, it's going to be a far more powerful headset than the old one. So, like, none of these features, none of these functions are, like, revolutionary, but they look like they are, you know, the next step up in, like, existing, you know, methodologies. And you know, with the way it scans the environment for you.
And it could lead to combining it with, like, AR and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, I mean, you're assuming the AR part. I want to make sure it's clear.
I said it could lead to. I'm not saying anybody has indicated that. That could have been just my pipe dream.
Yeah, I only bring that up. Well, I partly bring that up to not get not to get too high expectations, but also almost every time I talk about VR with some people, they want to go, "Oh, this will be cool for AR," and I'm like, "This isn't AR, it's VR."
But the
front-facing
camera will allow the AR, which without the front-facing camera, you can't do the AR as much. But with the front-facing camera, as an integrated part of the system, yes, you could possibly do AR is the main thing I'm saying. That doesn't mean they'll do it, but some developer might hear somebody like me speculating on this and say, hey, wait, we can do that. And then the next thing you know, we get Pokemon Go VR2 edition or you know, the AR experience through VR. And who knows? It's like I said, a lot of things are in the dream diary. And we'll see what
there are some AR apps that are being made for the MetaQuest. And so, you know, I'm sure it's just a matter of time, but I don't know how elaborate it's going to get yet.
Well, yeah, because like the other thing you need for AR is I have GPS positioning information because, you know, the augmented reality games take into account where you are in the world when you're looking at the world. And so for an AR game, it would not just need the front-facing camera, it also would need GPS positioning.
So I just did a quick search. Apparently on May 25th, 2022, Meta rolls out a new augmented reality feature for Quest 2.
Oh, nice.
So, like, it's about 2 months ago they rolled out augmented reality feature for Quest 2. Speaking of Quest 2, I don't know if you got this news. They just raised the price for the Quest 2.
Oh, wow.
$100.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's never good news.
Usually the stuff, they lower the price, but they raise the price. And part of the reasoning for the price increase is materials cost has gone up because of the inflation and price gas and all that stuff. And the other part to it is they've made it now to where you're able to use it without your Facebook account. And they were always selling it at as a loss leader with the knowledge that it was going to be tied to your Facebook account. And so they were making up that loss in income through Facebook revenue.
Right.
But between those two things, they've decided between losing
They
money on those
they've
two fronts, they
they've
decided to raise the price.
reprioritized. Yeah, they've reprioritized their business strategy to see if they can make money in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got just a couple more topics, and we've got a little over 12 minutes to go before the show ends. The last two topics are mine. They're both really quick. Now, people remember a little series of movies starring Tom Holland called Spider-Man.
Oh,
You
barely heard of it.
might have barely heard of it. And in the movies, he has this sidekick buddy of his. You remember
Ned?
Ned, right? Well, Ned's got a new TV series coming to Sci-Fi.
Oh yeah, is this
It's
like
called
a vampire
Reginald
thing,
the
right?
Vampire. Ned gets embraced as a vampire, and he's supposed to be the most super nerdy vampire around. So he like offers a gangbanger money to let him bite him, just so he could drink his blood in the preview. And I recognized it as Ned, and I'm like, oh my God, now I have to see it because it's Ned.
Yeah.
Something other than Spider-Man. So Reginald the Vampire is coming October 5th to, I think it's Sci-Fi Network that is getting it. And there's going to be
That means I probably won't be watching it.
10 episodes starring our buddy Ned. And it's got Jacob Batalon, who's Ned, Ian Hain in what episode, Mandela Van Peebles in one episode, Rachel Golding as Moira in one episode, Aaron Buckholtz in one episode. Everybody's in one episode, it seems. Doesn't look like they repeat a lot of people. Savannah Beasley, one episode. Taylor Roberge in one episode.
I take it that Reginald either terrifies everybody, scares everyone away, or kills them, or gets bullied and does not keep people around for very long.
Right.
An episode at a time.
Because, everybody is like one episode. I'm looking down here, and it's still one episode, one episode, one episode, one episode, one episode.
Reginald's
Everybody
going to be
is
a
one
lonely
episode.
vampire going from group to group.
Yeah,
It's
going to be one of those, kind of similar to how the She-Hulk series is going to be able to do a villain of the week kind of thing because of how it's set up. This, like, it's going to be a antagonist of the week kind of thing. Every week he's going to have some different hardship and some different cast of people he's got to deal with. It looks like, because everybody's got one episode where he's in 10 episodes. So we know there's 10 episodes, but nobody is reported to be in more than one episode except him. So that's kind of different for most TV series. Usually, I mean, this harkens back to things like the original Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno and stuff.
Where he was the only actor that was from one episode to the next.
There was only 3 actors that were in every episode practically, and that was the one reporter that chased him, the one that played Bruce Banner, and the one that played Hulk. And that was it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else changed from episode to episode to episode. Or like Quantum Leap, where you got the hologram and you got the scientist, and everybody else changes. This is going to be harkened to that kind of series where you got Ned or Reginald the Vampire, and everybody else changes.
Is it going to be streamed on anything?
All I know right now is I think it's supposed to end up on Sci-Fi, which is part
Looks like it's Showtime.
That might have been an advertisement. I don't know if it's for this.
Yeah, it might have been.
But it's a Sci-Fi series, which Sci-Fi falls under.
Probably gonna be like a Paramount Plus or something.
Yeah, one of those has Sci-Fi as its as one of its subsections. And so as it gets closer, when it actually premieres, I'll let people know. If I find it streaming somewhere, I'll let people know, and then they can find it to watch. Whether or not I'll be able to watch it will depend on if I have that particular stream.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that are on streams, Resident Alien got approved for a third season.
That's another show I'd like to watch, but I don't have anything that it streams on.
Okay.
Unless,
Do you have a VPN?
yeah. No, I do not. I don't have a personal VPN. I have a work VPN, but that's not going to do what you're wanting it to do.
Because if you have a VPN, what you can do is set your location to New Zealand and then go to the free New Zealand on-demand site, and they have Resident Alien on the free New Zealand channel. So, because that's where I watched it until I got one of the ones that has it.
Then I'll have to pay for the VPN software.
Yeah, because I have Nordic VPN, or Nord VPN, and that's what I use to watch. I used to use it to watch Resident Alien. Now I can watch Resident Alien on one of my other ones. I don't remember which. It's either Peacock or Paramount.
If you can watch Resident Alien, then you'll probably be able to watch Reginald, because they're both sci-fi shows.
Yeah, but it depends on if it gets shared out to the UK, New Zealand, and stuff like that or not. Because sometimes they contractually go out there and sometimes they don't. Because they don't have access to like sci-fi necessarily in other countries.
Right. And what I mean is you can watch Resident Alien on one of the streaming services, right? Paramount Plus.
I think one of those does let me watch it. I think it's Peacock.
I mean, yeah, it could be Peacock. I'm
fact,
pretty sure it's one of those two. I'm pretty sure it's one of those two that has sci-fi.
Let me see real quick. I don't want to sign in right now while I'm on the stream.
Yeah, you don't need to show it on camera.
But anyway, I'll have to check it later, and I can come back and let people know next week. But wait, hold on. Let's see. Peacock looks like has the Sci-Fi Network, according to this.
All right.
So, and I've got Peacock, so I could do that. So that's one. And then the other last thing I wanted to mention, we got like 5 minutes left to go, is, of course, I like to do a Kickstarter every week. This is just a real quick one. It's Adventures Await Arcane Armaments. It's 200 magic items for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons with stretch goals that include 100 additional items, new class, the Antiquarian, Kickstarter exclusive adventure, and Kickstarter exclusive cover. It launched literally today. So you have 29 days to get in on it. It's only right at about 10% funded so far, but it's only looking for $45,000. It's just a real quick project you can back if you like a lot of new creative magic items with, because these design magic items are great for having like backstories and lore linked to them, so they're a little bit more fleshed out than one you make yourself. In a stretch goal of 45K, which will show it's funded. Then you add 25 items at 50K, the adventure at 55K, another 50, or a total of 50 items at 60K, the antiquarian at 65K, total of 75 bonus items at 70K, the deluxe cover at 75K, and 100 items at 80K. Looks pretty good. To back the project, you've got the back it because you believe in it, which is any amount, but $10 is suggested. There's the early bird special, PDF only. which has got 28 hours to go, but you get just a PDF copy for $10. But you have only like 28 hours to get that one. Then the non-early bird, it costs $20 for the PDF only. Then there's the early bird special PDF and hardcover, which is $25. And that one, again, you have 28 hours to jump in on. Hey, and girlfriend is in the chat. She actually has joined the chat. She's, as a lot of people may know, she's also our production manager assistant when she's here, which means she points out that somebody has said something in chat if we miss it, and will sometimes post links and stuff for us when we're busy talking. Well, Sophia Starr is in the chat right now. She's actually waving from New York, where she's visiting family. As you may have remembered, she tried to call me a little bit earlier while we were broadcasting. Reminded her that we were doing the show, and since she took her laptop with her, she's logged in to visit us, so she's waving to everybody excitedly. Just at the tail end of the show, we're just going over my Kickstarter one. Now, if you're going to go with the non-early bird, it's $35 instead of $25 to get the PDF and hardcover. So either way, you're going to get the PDF, but you can get the hardcover for a little bit more. And that's the only pledges. So it's not too bad. They've done a whole lot of pledges. But it just opened today, and they've already got 10%. That's not bad for your first day.
Yeah,
no, that's not bad at all, because I know it launched officially today. Yeah, it is just getting to 10 p.m. Central here. Timing's everything. We are just about the end of the show. And we filled the show this week with a lot of different odds and ends. Next week, we will have coverage of the Sandman premiere. Because Sandman will be showing this Friday on Netflix. And of course, it's a Netflix series, and it's not one they're splitting into like 2 half seasons. So all of Sandman will release on Friday. That doesn't mean I will have binge watched the whole thing by then, but I probably will have. I know Ralphie's talking about coming over and watching the first couple episodes with me on Friday. So we're going to get some like food and watch the Sandman episode 1 and 2 probably, at least.
yeah.
On Friday, we're going to eat some Pancho's Taco Bell, or Pancho's Tacos, or whatever. I'm not a big fan of the new Pancho's. I like the older Pancho's that closed down, but I'm going to give the new one a try because that's the one Ralphie goes to. And I did like their food. I just didn't like the service at that one. And hey, Sophia's saying hi to Celtic, because of course she's run around and played with Celtic and Fractured online with us. In fact, Sophia Starr is her name in Fractured, so he'll have recognized her character.
So just FYI, I took a quick look at, I logged into Peacock. I made an account, a free account, which I learned they have free accounts, and then they got like limited accounts that are paid, and then they get premium accounts. And so they got like basically 3 different options.
Yeah, and the free accounts, you can watch some stuff, and then some of their more exclusive stuff, you get like 1 or 2 free episodes, tokens.
But even with the free account, I was able to look and see what's available to view for everything, and it'll just tell you which ones you can't watch, basically. And I found Resident Alien. It's available for premium membership.
Right.
So I didn't find Reginald, but that might just be because it hasn't released yet.
It doesn't release till October, so.
Yeah.
October 5th. October 5th is when it comes out. Anyway, so we're closing up our show this week. As I said, we're going to watch The Sandman this weekend. I'm also going to watch They Them this weekend, which is a new take on a slasher film. It's a slasher film that happens in a LGBTQ re-education camp, Which,
Yeah, they,
for
them.
those who don't know what they, them, yes. For those who don't know what that is, it's a camp that supposedly thinks it can cure people from being gay or transgender and stuff, which we all know is not a disease. But it turns out to become a slasher camp. So it's a horror movie set in one of these re-education camps. It's going to be, yes, exactly like Sophia Starr says. It's people that think they can pray the gay away. And Kevin Bacon is the star of the movie.
I'll read the description from Peacock's site. It says a group of teenagers at an LGBTQ plus conversion camp endures unsettling psychological techniques while being stalked by a mysterious mass killer. Coming August 5th. Horror.
Yeah, they don't have to make it a slasher film to make it a horror movie, because the horrors that they perpetrate at some of these re-education camps are a lot scarier than a slasher. There are some actual tortures that went on in several re-education camps throughout the country when the re-education camp thing became a big thing, especially back in the 80s and 90s as people started to come out more and more, and the religious groups were having extremists. I'm not saying all religious people are bad, but the extremists out there thought they could pray the gay away or torture the gay away or cure them of the cult programming of being gay or trans, not realizing that's the person actualizing who they are. A person is who they are, and they should be free to be who they are, no matter what your personal opinion is about them, because you know what? It's not your personal life, it's theirs. But it is still going to be an interesting take on a slasher movie, and I'm interested to see what approach they do and how they do it. So I do want to watch it. I'm hoping that it's not expletive, but it's more just current and shows what can happen when things go wrong and stuff. And it's just another take on a horror film that doesn't in any way label it as wrong, because it's not wrong. We have many, many friends that are this way, and I will not ever say there's anything wrong with a person's choice in their lifestyle, as long as their lifestyle is not hurting somebody else. That's the only thing that I see as wrong in a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like Sophia says, not all religious or spiritual people are bad. Your beliefs are yours, but some of the atrocities that have happened are bad. And there's been more atrocities happened and attributed to religion and spiritual beliefs than almost any other excuse out there, especially fanaticism. And so religion in and of itself is not wrong. Having something to believe in can be very good, and it can inspire you to be a moral person. But having fanaticism and blind faith in something, blind anything, is bad, because you want to go into things with your eyes open.
Yeah.
So,
do you have any other subjects? Sorry, I interrupted your Kickstarter campaign. I just want to let you know what I found on the.
That's okay. We got through every subject we were going to do. Again, reminder that we have game coming up, fast approaching in October, the first half of October, 14th, 15th, and 16th. We still need volunteers. Join Eclectic Endeavors group on Facebook if you want to volunteer. Our meetings are open to the public, so we'll tell you when the meetings are. Come, find out what you can do. Don't worry about interrupting me, Sophia. Don't worry about interrupting me, Philip. It's not just the Doc show, as much as I love the sound of my own voice. I talk and interrupt probably more than I should as well. But we've got so much going on, and we're getting ready to break into big media again because this week we've got just Sandman and They Them, and a couple of movies are releasing and moving from one streaming platform to another streaming platform, or opening that have been off streaming for a little while. I know Ghostbusters is getting ready to go to a streaming platform again. Harry Potter is moving from one streaming platform to another streaming platform. You know, we've got the Men in Black 3 just jumped onto a streaming platform again. I think it's Netflix, and so on. So there's so much reorganizing of the streaming platforms right now about some of their different things are being shifted around. But after next week, the following weeks, we've got the Groot shorts, the I Am Groot short. Now, I have heard that the total runtime for all the shorts in the I Am Groot shorts is like 20 minutes. So it's only like 20 minutes of content.
Okay. Yeah, and it's coming out all at once, I heard.
It's all at once, and it's like 6 shorts. But they're so short that it actually amounts to like 20 total minutes. Probably why they didn't make as big a deal about it at San Diego Comic-Con is because it is such a small offering.
I mean, they did put out a reveal trailer for it and everything.
Yeah, and I've seen it. It's adorable. It's great. They did also say that although at the San Diego Comic-Con they kind of announced that Wakanda Forever was going to be the end of Phase 4, it's not, because James Gunn did confirm recently that the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is the epilogue or swan song of Phase 4. So it is the official last entry in Phase 4.
Yeah.
But it's
I think they've been kind of doing that for a bit, where they have the end of the phase and then the epilogue of the phase.
Yes.
Like Endgame was the end of Phase 3, but Spider-Man Far From Home was the epilogue.
Right. And now the holiday special is the epilogue for Phase 4 before we go into Phase 5, which starts with Quantumania.
Yeah.
So that's great. But then shortly after I Am Groot, we get She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk is going to be a villain of the week kind of format, because she's going to be defending different villains as she discovers the uses of her powers. Yeah. There's lots of great little clips online you can already find with interplay between her and Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. We see a little teaser bits about, looks like the Wrecking Crew and Daredevil and some kind of cosmic elf type judge. We're not sure if she's an elf or a cosmic being or what, but she could be Asgardian elf. We don't know. He looks kind of elven, but we see Titania. We see all these different things. We see, of course, Abomination and Wong, and so, in fact, we're going to have the classic She-Hulk breaking of the fourth wall, because long before Deadpool was breaking the fourth wall, She-Hulk was breaking the fourth wall. And so she will turn to the camera and address us during the show in a couple of places, and they already do it in the preview. There's at one point where she says, this isn't going to be one of those cameo of the week things. Well, except for Bruce and the Abomination and Wong. Okay. And then there's another one where they says, okay, if you really want to still be a lawyer, I guess I can get behind that. And she turns to the camera and says, he doesn't mean that. And Bruce looks over because she broke the fourth wall again. So we're going to get that classic breaking of the fourth wall, which is so much a Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk kind of trademark long before Deadpool did it. Really, in early Marvel, your breakers of the fourth wall were She-Hulk and Howard the Duck, long before Deadpool even existed. We had She-Hulk and Howard the Duck, and then we got Deadpool.
Let's wrap up real quick.
We're
swan songing about a show that we've talked about every week for the last couple months.
Because it's coming on the 17th, everybody. But yeah, we're done. We're gone. May your roles be epic. May your failures be noteworthy and be talked about in story and song for long times. Go off, lick your wounds, take your mana potion, drink your health potion, get back into the battle, and finish him. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.